Welcome to This Commerce Life. We are an unscripted podcast dedicated to small businesses and entrepreneurs in the retail and consumer packaged goods space in Canada and the United States.
I am Phil Chang, co-host and co-founder.
And I'm Kenny Vanucci, co-host and co-founder of This Commerce Life.
Our love is the journey to retail, and our passion is sharing that with you every week.
Wow.
Okay.
I actually, I was like, oh, I should get all like cozy and like, I've always wanted to do a, like sit by the fire with like a pipe and like a smoking jacket interview. But I have to go and buy a candy pipe. So next time for you guys, we'll do a candy pipe.
Next time we'll do it in person.
Oh, that's even better. And then
we'll come out west. The three of us will get smoking jackets and candy pipes and do it together.
That would be so fun. Oh my God.
That would be fucking awesome, actually.
You should do that at CHFA. Just set it up with chairs and a fake fireplace and have candy pipes and people can just come and sit down and talk to you.
Or we should get a real pipe and we'll go sit outside.
No.
I like the smell of tobacco. I love the smell of pipe tobacco.
It does smell really good.
I just.
Oh no, are you kidding? It's amazing.
It's so lovely.
Yeah.
That and actually, I do really like cigars too.
Love cigars.
Yeah, me too. Oh,
cigarettes,
okay, we could do that too.
Piss yourself, but
That's different. But like a nice cigar, so we could do that too. We could still record outside. You never know. We might get a whole bunch of people coming up to have a cigar with us while we're recording. Not that we're promoting smoking people. We're not saying that.
No, I think you should do the candy pipes thing though. Honestly, I think candy pipes, armchairs, big fake fireplace. Come and sit down with Phil and Kenny and
the grandpa hour.
I love it.
We'll have to see.
You know that when it comes to these things, it actually doesn't matter how Kenny feels about any of it, right, Patrice? As long as I love it, that's all that really matters. So,
okay, well, it's my
Kenny's going where we go. So yeah.
You guys figure it out. Just tell me where I'm supposed to be, and I'll be there.
Oh, I got it already. I figured it out.
Okay.
I gotta figure out how I can get more than say a dozen candy pipes all in a it needs to come in a cigar box, right? So you can everyone gets their own.
Yeah. No, that would be super cool. And if you could figure out a way, you'd have to enclose it a little bit just to bring down the sound and put the panels up. But still make it see-through?
No, we would put a lavalier mic on each person. And then you wouldn't worry about it, right? Because so you'd hook up, everybody would have their own mic. And so when you come in, we'd hook you up with one on your collar or whatever, and then there'd be no echo.
Yeah, with that fuzzy little thing that they put on the top of the mic.
Yeah.
You could also have fake animals so they could be petting their cats.
Okay, we're getting a little bit creepy.
Animals?
Seriously. Everything's fake.
Amazing.
I'm bringing a real pipe.
I love it.
That's it. You guys are too much fake.
If we put ferns in, it'd be between the ferns with Zach Galifianakis.
Yes. Ferns, fireplace.
I like the ferns,
fake cats, smoking jackets, and pipes.
Okay, well, you guys figure it out. Let me know how it goes.
We'll invite you. You'll just show up.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much par for the course anyway. So
guest appearance by Kenny.
Yeah. Guest appearance. Yeah. I wish I was elevated to that level.
So listen, first, we are really happy that you're here. Second,
me too.
What the fuck took you so long?
What are you talking about?
It's 20 years to get on a podcast.
After you for so long.
At least 3 CHFAs.
6 years.
At least 3 CHFAs. At least.
Yes.
Okay, first off, I'm pretty sure I've been on here before.
But a couple years, more like
that was 2.5 years.
4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Nobody was listening to us.
Just so it's clear, forget it. Patrice is wrong. So first off, that's first and foremost. So whatever she says is not going to be right on this one. We've been asking her, not this Toronto show, not the Vancouver, not the previous Toronto, I think the previous Vancouver show. So it's been 4 CHFAs because that's when you met him, and it's all the time. Oh yeah, we've got a new thing coming, and crickets.
But you know what? It's always because something's always coming that I can't necessarily talk about, but I want to talk about, and I want to kind of save it because coming on here is special. And it's always like the next thing that's coming that I'm now excited about. So like, for example, like doing the innovation lab, like I'm so freaking excited about this and the total way that we're going to like change manufacturing for small, medium businesses, like all this kind of stuff. But I literally had to wait. Like we have a provisional patent in place now, but like, it's not like, I can't talk specifics, but like, I'm just always, they've always got stuff, the next thing that I'm always like kind of saving for you guys. So yeah.
We love it. We love it.
But yes,
Kenny,
a lot of stuff has happened in 2 years.
Do the intro, Kenny. Let's get her going. She's got stuff.
We don't know. She said she's got stuff. We'll have to see where this goes. I want to hear all this great stuff.
Oh,
okay.
He's doubting you, Patrice. I feel
right.
like
Patrice is on today. We met Patrice many years ago when she was actually just starting Satya. Which is her, well, I'll just call it a skin cream line, and then you're going to correct me and do all your thing. But we've known her for quite a few years now. Started a really cool product. I know a bit of the story, so I'm glad we're going to actually finally share it of how it all started. But I'm not as up to date of where it is, so I'm excited about that part of the podcast because the first part I'll know a little bit. But anyways, Patrice, for the next 45 minutes, 50 minutes, it's yours. Literally wherever you want to start. Typically we just ask people, who you are, how you got here, what you did before, how you ended up in this mess, because CPG is interesting on a good day. And then wherever you want to go, you go, and we'll chime in when we feel we need to ask something. Otherwise, you're used to radio. You can tell that part too. You've definitely got some expertise in this area, more so than the two of us. So you can coach us too if you want, but
whatever.
Not that I'd listen, but just in case you wanted to try.
And I've got a really bad habit thing that's happening right now. You can literally hear my washing machine in the background.
By the way, I had to shut the dishwasher off because it was driving me nuts. So
sorry about that. I could get up and shut it off and just keep talking.
No,
no,
I can't hear it. Can you hear it? I can't hear it.
No, I don't know if you can hear my dishwasher before, Phil. I shut it off because I thought it was irritating.
Well, that's just the thing is like when you're doing recordings, always shut off background noise.
Yeah.
And when I was in broadcasting, it was always take off watches and bracelets because people are always putting their wrists on the table, and it makes a really
the bang scratch.
Makes that funk that you can't get rid of.
And then if it's bangly, like it'll always chingle and Okay, interesting.
So that's the distraction. Yes. So first of all, I want to talk about how we met and how incredibly kind the two of you are.
Okay, don't waste a little time on that. Nobody wants
listen, to don't be dragging me into Kenny's mess, all right?
Just
like
shut your hold for 2 seconds here.
Okay.
I love how I'm coming on your show and telling you to shut your hold.
That's fine. Just go ahead.
So Kenny literally helped me figure out my cost of goods. And because I could never figure out how I never made any money. And then Phil spent time and has never even met me at this point. All this time helping me figure out, marketing and social media and stuff. I mean, you guys were beyond generous. And it meant a lot to me.
Our pleasure. How's that?
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, it's not hard to when nice people ask for help and you feel good and you got a good story. And I knew the situation at the time. I don't know. I think it's you have to help people. That's the whole point of this. That's the whole point of this journey through life. Never mind in the business world in general. That's what we should be doing. Yeah. And maybe if we all did that, we'd have a lot less problems in this fucking world.
Agreed.
Right. So it's all good. Our pleasure anytime. You know that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're like when Mr. Rogers says, look for the good people. You guys are good people. So
you're very sweet. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, enough about us now. Jeez.
Okay. It makes us feel weird. Move along.
Are you feeling weird?
Always. I can't stand
weird feelings.
Yeah. We don't do compliments. Yeah.
Well, they're well deserved.
Thank you.
Yes. So I guess you want the brief bio on who I am. So I used to be a broadcast journalist for many, many years, radio and television. Things like CBC, News World. I was the news anchor for APTN. I had a talk show on CFRB in Toronto. I had a music show on Sirius Satellite Radio. I had all this like current affairs show on iChannel, like just random, a whole bunch of different stuff. I thought I was going to do that forever. Ended up having a baby. My whole world changed. And then when she was just 8 months old, she developed eczema or eczema, depending on how you like to say it. And steroids were the only option that the doctor gave me. She was in really bad shape. And I had actually interviewed somebody on the Dirty Dozen, which is like the top, chemicals that are in our products that are dangerous. And so I was, aware of some of the stuff that was out there. But then when I started researching, I was like, there's no way that I want to put this on my 8-month-old baby. So I, again, put my research skills to work, and I just looked at what was out there for the medical research. I looked at traditional medicine. I'm Indigenous. I'm First Nations from Fort William First Nation in Thunder Bay, and grew up in Sulikout. And of course, looked at academic studies too, like stuff that universities have been looking at for the last 10, 15 years, new advances around botanicals, things that could potentially be just as effective because it's all chemicals, but without the nasty side effects of some of these other things. So I went and I bought a crock pot because I didn't have one, used off of Facebook for $15, which I still have. I'm not using it for chili or anything. It's sitting in my cupboard. Just started experimenting. Ended up with something that cleared my little Esme's eczema up in just 2 days. So then I, of course, because I'd made a whole crock pot, I didn't need it all anymore. So I put it out on Facebook. I was like, does anybody else need any? And I had to make 3 more crock pots immediately. Because at that point, I didn't realize that 20% of the world's population suffers.
It's a big number.
Huge. And I mean, and that's not even counting all the people with psoriasis and rosacea and,
exactly.
And any and all of these rashes and chafing and itching and severe dryness, all these, like, basically if you have skin,
everybody's on it.
Chances are you need something like this, right? So wasn't planning on making it a business. Probably about a year later, though, I ran across some women in Vancouver that had businesses that were doing it really values aligned with what they wanted to see in the world. And I thought, well, if this is what business can be, then maybe I could make a business. Like it was never a passion or an idea of mine. And so I did my first farmer's market in Port Moody in 2013, the end of 2013. So we've been in business now for 10 years. Then I did, I went to the local kids store and I said, would you carry my skincare? And she said, no. She's like, I have so much skincare already. I'm just not interested. And I said, well, do you have any skin issues? And she goes, yeah, I've got this rash under my ring finger. It's super itchy. It makes me crazy. I can't get rid of it. And I said, try this. I gave her one of my little travels. I said, I'll call you in 3 days. She called me the next day. She said, it's gone. She said, I'll carry your product. And then she told her friends. And so we ended up in 70 stores in the Lower Mainland. And then Whole Foods got interested. And then Purity Life said that they'd carry us. And then through them, we ended up in just hundreds of stores across the country, including like Whole Foods and Choices and Thrifties and Nature's Fairs and Big Carrot and the natural parts of Sobeys and Lawtons, like all these different stores. And then recently, we just launched in all the Shoppers Drug Marts nationally as well. So now we're in all of the Shoppers Drug Marts, which is pretty crazy.
Wow, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stores.
It's a lot of stores. It's 1,100 stores.
Yeah,
another 1,100 stores. And we're doing really well. They're quite happy. So we're actually, it's
awesome, man.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's awesome. And we're
your
Canadian made,
your
right?
little tin travels everywhere I go. because we're the same. Like, so, I think when I first met you, I told you that story, but like all my kids had eczema. The one, the youngest one, it was so bad that we couldn't take her swimming, because it just stung so badly. Couldn't do it, right? And by the time I met you, we'd gotten it kind of under control, but your cream was extremely helpful. And so like when we travel, that little travel tin I have, it still goes with me. Because it's fantastic. It's,
I mean, you've got lip and hand dryness on the plane. You're going somewhere sunny, you get a sunburn. You get bug bites, you get whatever. Like, I don't have eczema myself, but I use it every day, like every day.
Yeah.
And the product itself, like, will never sting. Like, we did testing, skin sensitivity testing on a wide variety of skin types and colors. And it's all a 0. So there was no issues whatsoever for anybody. We're dermatologist approved. We're pediatrician approved. So even infants can now be using our product. Infants to like 101. Basically, this is something for everybody. We're hypoallergenic. We're fragrance free. USDA certified organic. Health Canada and FDA approved. What else are we? We're EWG verified. We're about to get our B Corp certification.
That's huge.
We went in and been wanting to do it forever. And it was great because we actually kind of sailed through. We were doing stuff even that B Corp wasn't measuring. So I think we landed at about a 92.3, and you have to hit an 80. So that's where our starting point, which is great.
Wow.
We weren't really
measuring
stuff before.
What a change.
I know. For me not knowing what
a change from the Starbucks there in Port Moody.
Yes.
Right? Trying to figure out what the cost really was.
I mean,
my God.
Yeah. It just goes to show that, like, just because you don't think that you have what is the traditional, characteristics of what a successful business could be, you just have great people around you. You do the things that you're great at.
Yeah.
And then get other people who are great at those things, and build a team.
It's sort of what you do learn as you go through it, though, right? Is like, I'm sure you would do 1,000 things differently on the next one, because you learn so much. Oh yeah. In this one, right?
Yeah. But I don't regret any of it because I've learned so much.
But it is.
And yeah, and I've grown at my own pace too. Oh, something else I didn't tell you guys. So I got some venture capital, and I actually bought them out last Christmas.
Good for you.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm 100% owned by me, which is pretty
cool. How long did you?
How you're that way?
Yeah.
That's
sorry, guys.
No, that's awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. It was a convertible note.
Awesome.
And I was able to pay them out on profit, and I was able to get another friend who gave me a really good deal on some debt. And it's funny because later on when they saw our financials, they were like, "Oh, we can't do this." And I was like, "You said you were going to do this. We're doing it."
Yeah.
Right.
Bye. Bye.
Yeah.
Thanks for the ride. Time to go.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fantastic, though. What a great story.
Wow. So exciting.
Thank you.
So in terms of where you are manufactured here, right? Like you're in the country.
Yep.
Are you still manufactured in this city, or are you on the other side? Where are you?
No. So we had, because at the time our co-packer here in Vancouver didn't have their FDA.
Right.
So we had to go to someone in Vaughan in Ontario. But as we grow, it's my hope that we can actually go and have a co-packer on each coast. Yeah. Because we launched in the US, did a big launch in the US last year. And it was kind of great. Some people at Shopify called me up and asked me if I would voice a commercial for them. And I said, sure, because I assumed it was because of my old broadcasting abilities. And so they paid me like $500 and they were like, okay, thank you. And I went on my way. Well, little did I know that they were running it on podcasts on CNN and ESPN 4 times a day in the US, me talking about my product and how great it was to use Shopify. And we did almost $500,000 in sales from that. So
Holy
it just
shit.
speaks to the need of a product like this. So now we're just got to figure out how to do it ourselves. But our focus this year has been getting shoppers up and running too. So
you got to be
that's a
careful
big
because
giant.
the states could be a monster. I mean, the states is, I mean, seriously, you can get all this country and you land one guy in the states and it's like the country.
Yeah.
Like, so you really got to be cautious, states, and you got to go when you're ready to go.
Yes.
You got to be careful because it can cause problems. It could be fantastic. It will be fantastic, but you got to take it in baby steps.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not rushing or pushing anything. I'm focused on making sure that shoppers will be successful.
Yeah.
We're trying a few different things outside of their regular sort of marketing programs, which you are also taking part in. So we're looking at, actually want to try doing a direct mailer to one area of just to see if that in fact works or what, and set up some Google ads and just kind of experiment and see where the most benefit is. And shoppers have been great in that they're helping us with feedback and numbers as well. So yeah,
Good for you.
thank you.
Good for you. I'm seriously, it's such a change. Like seriously, like I mean it's amazing. It's fantastic.
You're yeah. Remembering me sitting in your cafe crying. I don't know what I'm doing.
And then we would take the tears to Port Moody and the Starbucks and cry there.
Well, there's still tears. I still don't know what I'm doing sometimes.
Yeah, but sometimes it's a lot different than
question.
Yeah.
Questions. Yeah.
Just a whole different world.
Yeah.
A whole different world.
So what comes next? You've got some interesting
big distribution.
Yeah, you've got some big distribution. You've got this Shoppers Drug Mart thing that you gotta keep a handle on, which is easier said than done, right? Because they're kind of this ginormous behemoth thing with lots of processes. But what comes next? So where do you go from here?
So I guess it was through Shoppers, we've talked to the people like at Loblaws with all their banners, but I'm not saying yes to any of that yet. Again, that's my whole philosophy of like grow slow. Let's just get Shoppers figured out, dialed in perfectly so that we're both happy. We launched in all the metros as well. Actually, we're getting our first PO in all the metros in Ontario. And then through them, we met Food Basics. So Food Basics is taking us as well. And then Jean Coutu was very interested, which I think was actually a really good fit for Satya. But that's another 600 stores. So we're going to not push on that and just focus on the Shoppers. But another thing that I'm doing is I've created this thing called NSAIL, which stands for it's a scale and innovation lab started by myself, an Indigenous woman, 4 other Indigenous women to start because it's 2-pronged. So it's getting people access to the machinery, the capital, and the information and the people that they need to scale their companies, like adjusting their formulations, manufacturing, all those sorts of things. And the other aspect of it is sampling. So when I started the business, a lot of people said sampling was really important, which, it can be for sure for cosmetics and personal goods. Personal care items, but I didn't want to do it because those little plastic sachets are so wasteful and they're single-use plastic and they're just going out in the world. And that is not in line with what we do as a company, right? Like everything we do is refillable and really high quality and everything else. But I never forgot that there is a huge gap, right, in the industry for providing samples that are environmentally friendly. So working with a couple of different universities here, I've actually developed a machine and a software and a process that creates compostable samples for hot pours or cold pour. It's mobile, so you can do it anywhere. Like you could literally take one of my machines up to Iqaluit and you could manufacture there. It also does full size. We just won a Grand Challenges grant to make this come to fruition. We have a working prototype. We're doing 4 more prototypes this year. We're putting a lab on SFU's grounds. So we're going to have a standalone lab there that's going to be running these machines. And yeah, it's so needed. Like sampling, even if you wanted to use the plastic crap that's out there, it's so expensive.
Exactly.
Mhm.
I was talking to my friend Jen, and my understanding was that there's nowhere in Canada that does any hot pour sampling at all. But there is a couple of places in the US that do it. But their minimums were 100,000. Well, she found a place that the minimums were 440,000, which was great, but it was going to cost her $3 a sample.
Yeah.
To produce 3 microdots of lipstick.
Right.
And I'm like, man, I can do that for almost nothing. Like it's gonna change a lot of stuff for a lot of people, I think. Once this is out.
We used to, so for context, even in the big companies I've worked in, we used to, laugh at that all the time, right? Because samples would be a thing that salespeople would ask for. And we, like some of the brands I work for, we did samples, but, the laugh was almost like we should just give away full sizes.
Yeah.
Because by the time I do the sample, it's worth the same amount as a full size. I'll just give that away, right? Like, yeah.
Plus, not just the packaging, to run the machinery, to buy all the extra stuff.
Yeah.
Like you're just an environmental disaster all the way through.
Yeah.
You're trying to do the right thing. It's just a nightmare. Like you've wasted electricity. You waste everything. So stupid. And it costs more.
When our lab is set up, and it'll be within the next couple of months, you guys are going to come and
see.
At SFU.
Oh, the one up here. Okay.
It's going to be on the mountain. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now, so what are you? And as we, we're sort of talking, because we have a lot of CPG and retail, they get it. Is this country and even to our neighbor to the south, is we gave most of our manufacturing and production away 50 years ago.
Yep.
We don't do shit in our 2 countries. We really don't. We don't do a lot of anything. Yep. And you will come up with the problems that you're talking about. 100,000 minimums, million piece minimums, which are fine for the J&Js, etc.
Yeah, exactly.
But not really. Even then, it's not fine. Yeah.
Even the little peeps. All we want is 500, 1,000, 1,500.
These, my machines, there's no, like, you could run 1,000 units and then put the machine away. You do the run based on your need, not on minimums.
Does your machine do microground tea at all, or no?
I'm not sure.
Can it do powders?
Microground tea? What is microground tea? What's that?
Can you do powders, or is it just liquid, hot cold fill?
Right now it's just liquid, but I'm sure we could figure something out.
We'll put that on a piece of paper. Write that down.
All right, we'll have a conversation.
Well, because Kenny and I are part of, we're founders in a brand called Old Growth Beverages, so it's a microground tea, and so honestly, the last 2 weeks, all we've been talking about is samples. We have a sales guy, like, do we just give them full size samples to give away, like full size product to give away? Can we do samples? I would like as a real thing, like when I go out and I talk about the tea, I want to be able to give away samples, right? Because as well as I do, that when you give stuff away like that, one, they get to try it, which is super compelling, and then there's a materiality that's different from giving away a business card. So anyway, all we've been doing is talking about tea, and so you were talking about it, and all I was thinking about was like, God, we need that. But she's a hot pour. I need something that's powder and like fine,
Hey,
ground up powder. So
we do have an engineering team, so maybe it's something we can talk about for sure.
bless your heart.
Take a look, and because as we go down this path, because sampling is a challenge, like we're talking about right now. So, like, if you are, because you're like you're saying, you're working more on small business, small entrepreneurs within the Indigenous community or outside. It doesn't matter where anybody's from per se, because it's very difficult, no matter where you are, trying to figure out how do I get people to try this stuff without breaking the bank. For example, like, we can do a 120 gram bag. It's the same cost for us to do a 40 gram sampling bag. It's literally within pennies.
Yeah.
To the point where you're thinking, this is stupidity.
Yeah.
Well,
that I can give away a larger bag and save money.
Yeah. Well, and that's based on founder sweat too, right, Kenny? Like, the 40 gram bag is us bagging. My poor wife, like, thank God she doesn't listen to this show. But if I have to do more, because she volunteered to help me, but I'm gonna have to fire her, right? Like, I came back, I was printing labels, I come back, and there's microgram tea all over the table. I'm like,
that's
hey, when I did it, there's like a tiny bit of spillage, and then she's doing it. I'm like, babe, like, oh my God, what's happening here, right? And she was like, it's going well. I'm like, it's not going. Yes, dear, it's going great.
Problem, Patrice, we're getting in.
Anyway, I didn't mean, I digress. So.
No. I'm thinking, like, we need to.
Well, listen, if you're going to go down this path, right? If you're going to go down this path and you have the funding available, etc., hot fills, cold fills, dry fills, whether it's high powder, like,
that's
dusty
3/4 of the market,
or not.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's you've learned it. You learned it's not easy.
No,
like, it's funny. Our country is the best country on the planet. We'll all pretend to go down that path. The problem with our country, it's fucking difficult to do stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it really is difficult, and not just regulatory difficult. It's difficult all the way through to find people and everything.
Like, okay, so look at it like this too. We were talking about, all the fact that all the manufacturing jobs have left. Well, all the governments, Canadian, US, and Mexico, they want to build a trade corridor. So for them, this is a really important issue, is creating manufacturing
absolutely
inside of North America. Now, there's also the fact that when you have a business and you need to go to a co-packer, that money then leaves your local economy.
Absolutely.
Right? So it's just getting poured into the very few pockets out there at the top. So when you look at something like this, in a way, it kind of creates a democracy of manufacturing. So there's multiple benefits.
I think this is the way it should be done. I think it's a great play. Let me ask you one thing, because we neglect this every time we do podcasts, because typically we're a little obtuse, and because we actually think that the world runs fairly when things are working. How has it been? One, probably as a woman, and two, as an Indigenous woman. Like, how have there been struggles because of that, or has it been beneficial because of that? Like, how does it play? Or how has it played?
It's not easy. Like I said, I mentioned I got venture capital, but I was very fortunate. It's not even, how they say women get like 1 to 2% of venture capital. Well, you become a woman of color. It's not even, you can't even register it.
Right.
It's so small, the amount of money that goes to BIPOC folks, it's not even a thing. So there's that. And then there's people who always think, oh, it's so great that you're Indigenous and you get access to all these grants and blah, 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 or whatever. But the fact is, most of these grants are like $5,000. Oh, that's great. So you can start your, I don't know, knitting nook or something. Like, not even, like, you can't do anything with $5,000. And then people think they're so wonderful. And then, and also, like, when you go even to like women's business competitions, in the grand prize is $20,000. It's like, come on. Like, and then you go to other, the bro competitions, and it's it's $250,000, you know, like it's just, it's yes, it's a very unfair playing field. And then, yeah, on top of that, if you are successful, then people say, oh, it's only because you were X.
Right.
So, yeah. I work really freaking hard. And I have sacrificed a lot over these last 10 years. So I don't think, yeah.
So I want to ask, like, because I think what you're doing on the sampling side too is amazing, but why do it? Like, do you know what I mean? Like why do it? Because it is hard, and then you know the pain of going through sampling, and what you've just done is build something that's way bigger than you, right? Because this is not about you. This is about your ability to help other people now.
It needed to exist in the world. Like, my commercialization strategy is not even, you know, nailed down. This is not about how do I monetize this. This needed to exist in the world. I created it for my business, and then I created it now for all these other businesses who are like, oh my God, I cannot wait to get my hands on one of these, right? And then the opportunity, like, you can hire First Nations engineers to fly to do servicing, or, you know, create software, or like any engineers. Really, it's creating jobs and opportunity, innovation, and it's all coming from the Indigenous community about a very serious environmental problem. Right? These microplastics and the water that's used. This blew my mind when I figured this, that I heard about this. I don't know if you guys know this, but in order to create the plastic of a water bottle, like a plastic water bottle, it takes more than three times the amount of water than that is held in that plastic water bottle.
It's ridiculous.
I knew that.
Yeah, I knew that too. But it's insanity.
But it is insanity. Like, all of the recycling things are insanity. Actually, all the plastic things are, like, you know, we laugh and cry about it. Like, we had somebody on who told us about how most of the recycling we do doesn't actually go to recycling.
Sure.
You know, most of the plastic that we do, like all these things, right? That you're just like, I'm doing good things. I'm following the 3 R's, and you're like,
no.
The 3 R's are bullshit, right? Like, no,
It's a horrible thing. Okay, you can create good plastic that can be reused. It's lightweight. It's, you know, and then if you keep using it, then it makes sense. But the single-use plastic has to go.
Yeah, but a problem is most of what we have is single use. To your point, the reason you use flat packaging plastic for a lot of stuff, like when you go to a store and you see your nuts and your hot chocolates or whatever in that, is because you can ship 1 million pieces of that packaging for the same price and the same cube as you would glass. And glass ain't cheap to make. And glass takes a shit ton of energy and a shit ton of stuff. But at least glass, for the most part, we seem to reuse. We try to repurpose. Plastic, especially single use, like you said, is a fucking disaster because we throw 95% of it out. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
We've got to do better.
I'm working on a glass innovation around my stick packaging too. So that's coming down the pipe.
What do you sleep anymore or what?
No.
It's overrated, right?
I have good people that, you know, do stuff.
Yeah, it's overrated anyway. What are you going to do when you're sleeping?
Yeah. You know what? As one of the things that I've discovered, that as my business is growing and I have people who are in my life to support me, that I finally have a little bit of room for self-care and reflection and innovation and imagination. Self-care is a privilege that not everybody has as a small business. If I hear one more person telling me, oh, go do your meditation or yoga or whatever, you know, those are not bad things. But the reality is that telling somebody who is just trying to get up off the floor every day to do self-care is bullshit.
Yeah.
And also self-care that we're doing is wrong. It shouldn't be about focusing on self, because that's not actually what we're all hungry for, right? What we need is community.
Right.
So what we need to do is go out and be of service to someone else. And that can just be listening
Yeah.
or helping them, do their cost of goods or social media marketing or whatever. Like, it's just, that is what's going to fill up your heart and make you feel better and help you to get through your day.
It also makes everybody else feel better, Patrice, to your point. The person who you helped feels better.
Yes.
And you know what they're probably inclined to do? Help other people.
Yeah.
Because it does sort of pay, it just sort of pays forward. It really does. And it doesn't really cost you much of anything. A little time. So the time that you would have spent on the yoga mat, which is really lovely, no, great job. But the time you spent there to hear yourself and only yourself, you might have been able to help someone else.
Yep. I always find too that the more time that I give to others, the more time I have for myself, because I'm not stuck on that busy wheel.
Yeah.
It stops me. It gives me perspective, and I'm able to focus on the things that are important.
Yeah.
So yes, absolutely. It helps other people, but that is my form of self-care you can do. That and spending a little time every month on figuring out your personal finances. Also good, because that's the thing I'm learning about right now.
I remember those conversations.
What are my interest rates at? That kind of stuff.
Yeah. That's all good, man. That's you've got a lot of shit going on.
Yeah, man.
This is crazy awesome. When you do get this thing up and running in SFU, let's figure this out, because I feel like this is kind of big. Like, I'd love to. I don't know how we do that, but Kenny and I will talk about it, and maybe we come out and figure out how we film it, do some of that stuff from there, if that's cool with you.
Well, it's done by
but we'll talk to you. We'll talk to you some more, and then we should definitely get you on a Fast Thought talking about this stuff as well. So I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, if you want help, sort of pushing, promoting, whether it's the program or the machinery or whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, is the more stuff we can do in this country, and the more we can get more people doing stuff in this country, the better. And if that means focusing on certain groups of people, whether it's men, women, kids, Indigenous, I don't care. But we got to do more as a country. We got to do more together. So the more we can do to help ourselves, the better we're going to all be. So if you want to talk even about that, or if there's a cool angle you're going down in that, let us know. Seriously. I mean, we can be a bit of a voice, right, to help out.
Yeah, I mean, I think our major problem right now that I see is that we're not going to be able to keep up with demand very quickly.
Okay, that's sorry to tell you, that's okay. Okay.
No,
we're already on that.
That's pretty good.
Listen, I don't know where we are in the lineup, but I feel like we should be at the top here.
Well, I think we got to be front of the line too.
What's on that piece of paper? Just move us all the way up to the top. I don't know what's
make sure you
happening
keep moving everybody below us. That's all good in the hood.
Yeah, well, the next 3 machines have already been spoken for. So you guys we'll talk about doing dry pours and number 5, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, let's see. That's top of the list, Phil.
Yeah. Awesome.
That's cool. Anything else you want to tell us? Anything else going on? Got a couple of minutes. I got to bail at noon, but
gosh. I probably there is, but I'm like, I don't know. My little girl's awesome. She's having she's going to be 12 now.
How old? She's 12.
Wow.
She's going to be 12
already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think I remember 6 or 7.
I know.
Yeah.
It was funny. It was my current bookkeeper was actually there the very first day that I did that farmer's market in Port Moody.
Yeah.
He was reminding me that Esme was just a toddler and she was just wandering around, that little tent at the farmer's market.
Boy. Holy shit.
I know.
12. Is she working on the business?
Yes, she is. She's very opinionated about what should or shouldn't be, like the design aspects of.
Well, it's about her too, right? It was designed for her, so she should have a say in what goes on with it.
Well, she is. Yeah. I mean, for her, it's either she's going to take over the business or she's going to open a cat rescue on a ranch. So it's one of those two paths,
or both.
Okay. Yes. So
set your limits. Go do both.
Yeah, but
why not?
It's so fantastic because she doesn't see any limits on what she can do.
No, but she's also got a decent example in front of her, right?
Yeah.
Makes a
It's a big
difference.
deal.
Makes a difference.
It does.
So
It does.
Okay, so if people want to find you, where do they find you?
So our Canadian website is satya.ca, which is satya.ca. If they want to connect with me directly, LinkedIn is a great place to do that. And then you can find, if you're really interested in, learning more about this topical anti-inflammatory that you don't need steroids, go to our socials, at Satya Organic, not just with the C, on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and things like that. And you can see like before and afters and testimonials and all that jazz. Yeah.
awesome.
Amazing.
Awesome.
Thank you for coming on.
Of course. Thank
Yeah,
you.
we love it. We love talking
Finally.
to you.
I love talking to you guys too. It's always so fun.
Okay, we'll do the pipe
fun.
thing and whatever
fun.
else you guys yapped about in Vancouver.
I think it would be awesome.
Listen, I don't think you get it, Kenny. It's out of your hands. Like, you saying that you'll do it means absolutely nothing.
You know
So
what? It makes
Patrice
me
and I have
feel good.
already
So
figured
once in a
out.
while,
I think
I'm
we're
allowed to feel
already
like I participate.
communicating, like above the air.
Whatever.
So,
Yeah.
I'll just tell you when and where to be, and then it's all good. So,
Just so we all know, I'm going to say I'm okay with doing this, and that needed to happen first. So
Yeah.
that's it.
And and you can get guests in because they're getting free candy. So
Free candies. There you go.
free candies. I like it.
Okay, sounds
like
good.
All right. Thanks,
All right.
Take care of
Patrice.
yourself. We'll chat with you soon. Phil,
Thank
you stick
you.
around. Have a good afternoon.
You too. Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
Ciao.
Bye,
Bye.
Patrice.
Bye.
Hey,
A
that's
lot of
cool.
shit going on, man. She's got a lot of shit going on.
She
Holy moly.
it's funny, right? Because the folks that are doing big things, like how she kind of just blew that off.
But
Like,
she
I
does it all
like
the time. Like, it was like a nothing. You're setting up this, setting up that, this, that, this, that. You're
yeah,
thinking,
yeah.
okay, like
Yeah.
go back for a second.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to do anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you
and then
are.
national Sovereign shoppers, right? Like, wow, like craziness, right? So,
It's amazing.
yeah.
Oh man, good for her.
Yeah.
I'm really I mean, seriously, from the
Yeah.
times when the
It's
first
pretty-
conversations we had together, where
Yeah.
she was literally crying in the coffee bar to
Yeah,
what
yeah.
she's doing now. Like, she's just a rock star.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome.
amazing. It's amazing. Yeah. Okay, young man.
Gotta go. I'll chat with you in a couple hours.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Take care. See ya.